welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst car since 2010, so you don't have to, all in the very desperate hunt for points. And we start the flyaway section of the 2015 season in the McLaren MP430 Singapore, site of probably our best run of the entire series until 2014. And you join us off the back of a Belgium and Italian Grand Prix that were not good. No pace in Belgium whatsoever, really just struggled all weekend. And then in Italy, tried to race wheel to wheel with the AI in F1 2015 and got spun, trying to get back on the power early, drove in front of Max Verstappen, got drive-through penalty, ended up finishing 13th just behind Fernando Alonso right at the death, just while other drivers were having moments of their own. But it's been two pretty dismal races since surprise points at the Hungaroring. Does mean, I think, that Belgium and Monza potentially, if my memory serves, well, Belgium hasn't had a point since 2010. Monza, we've never scored. That's very much the antithesis of Singapore for us in this series so far. But before we talk about that, let's have a look. Nico Rosberg leads the way by 16 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. There's Vettel in third with 28 points behind. Raikkonen fourth with 32. The gap is in that fight. Massa and Bottas level on points and 66 behind, probably on the fringes of a title challenge with just these last few rounds to go. Ricardo, Kvyat, myself and Perez round out the top 10, none of us in triple digits yet. I'm 1 point away from our 2012 points total of 35 and still 46 behind our 2010 total, so we would need some pretty good results before the end of the season, I think, to catch up to that. So Virgin Racing may still hold the lead. Hulkenberg's 11th ahead of Maldonado. Grosjean, then Alonso, down to 14th after not scoring since maybe round 2 or 3, maybe round 1. With Verstappen, Sainz, Nasser, Marcus Ericsson, and then Will Stevens and Roberto Merry with no points at the bottom, while Mercedes lead the constructors. Ferrari, though, keeping them honest with Williams a little bit further back. Red Bull on their own in fourth. We slipped to 6th behind Force India, they're 2 points clear of us, with 22 clear of Lotus. Then it's Toro Rosso, Sauber and Mana Marussia. And Singapore, I keep mentioning it, site of a very, very good run for us. 2010, 2011, 2012 and 2013 all scoring points. 2014 on for points, crossed the pit exit line, drove through penalty, finished way down the order. It was our first pointless race at Singapore, and let's not forget we took a second place of 2 here in 2012, I want to say, and we were in the top 4 in 2011. Singapore seems to throw up some pretty mad races, or at least has done historically. F1 2015 AI, this could be carnage. Who knows? And I feel like this is a circuit that we might do alright at, this car. Obviously down on power, because of the Honda power unit. But we've demonstrated this season we can compete in sort of the midfield, lower top 10. And we had a great time at Monaco, let's not forget, earlier on in the season. So maybe, just maybe, we can get back on track after a couple of poor rounds. It's not been great since probably about Austria. That collision with Daniel Ricciardo has been seen us go backwards a little bit as the season's progressed. Maybe we can kickstart the final stretch, but we should probably see just how tough this is going to be with the AI here. So let's head out to practice. While we do, we'll talk about the real world. 2015 Singapore Grand Prix. One returned to the original night races. The teams and drivers headed to Singapore, though the field without Roberto Merry, man replacing the Spaniard with Alexander Rossi, indicating only 5 race deal in the team.
Okay, let's talk about this track. Going under the grandstand at turn 18 is a dangerous one. Don't be over ambitious with entry speed here. It's all too easy to slide wide and into the barrier. You can take quite a bit of curb on the inside though to find an extra 10th or so through there.
It didn't start well for Rossi, the American driver ending the first practice session in the barrier at turn 18, but he was showing good pace relative to his teammate. Mercedes, predictably, led the way at sessions closed, Rosberg ahead of Hamilton and Ricciardo. The same fate would befall Will Stevens in practice 2, the Brit ending his session in the barrier while Rossi could only run for the final half an hour. There was more of a surprise at the top though, as there was not a Mercedes in sight, either the factory team or the customer outfits, as Kvyat recorded the quickest time, followed by Raikkonen and Ricciardo. The strange results for practice continued into Saturday morning, as Mercedes found themselves over a second off the pace of Red Bull and Ferrari, with Hamilton one of a number of drivers exploring the run-off at turn 7.
But nothing beats real data. Bear in mind the car's capability changes based on track conditions, so your reference points may not always be in the same place.
It would be Vettel at the top of the times at the end of practice 3, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Kvyat. Qualifying would begin with further proof that Mercedes were off the pace. Ferrari and Red Bull put Mercedes to the sword in the session. Manor would find themselves at the back of the grid, some 3 seconds away from Maldonado, who was struggling on his runs, while both Saubers dropped out in the opening part of qualifying as well. Q2 saw further gains for Red Bull and Ferrari, but it was Carlos Sainz on his first appearance at Marina Bay who fell foul of the barriers, clipping the wall at turn 19 and breaking his front wheel suspension. The debris and yellow flags scuppered other drivers' runs, meaning that both McLaren's and both Force India's found themselves eliminated. McLaren disappointed after hoping for a better showing. Mercedes were on the back foot in Q3 and Hamilton found himself at bottom in his opening run, giving him more work to do in his second attempt. Both Mercedes were struggling with traction in the final sector, leaving an open door for their rivals. Vettel would lead the way, and his pole, Ferrari's first in 3 years, was confirmed after Ricciardo lost time behind Bottas on his final laps. The pair would lead the way, followed by Raikkonen, Kvyat, Hamilton, Rosberg, Bottas, Massa and Grosjean. Vettel's domineering pace evoked memories of his Red Bull dominance when he would sprint away at the start as if he was back in the bull-shod car. By the end of lap 1, he was 3 seconds clear of Ricciardo, both Vettel's former teammate, and it would be a matter of time before he would thrown. Sure enough, Ricciardo began to close in on his former teammate, knowing that his long-run pace would be sufficient to make Ferrari sweat in the 12th Grand of Singapore. Everyone had been well behaved in the opening salvos, but it was statistically guaranteed a safety car would appear. Sure enough, Felipe Massa and Nico Hülkenberg found themselves battling for the same bit of tarmac on lap 13, which resulted in the Hulk becoming acquainted with the barriers. A VSC was deployed initially, prompting the leaders to pit at once. This would be upgraded to a full safety car, a Mercedes leading the way for the first time in the guise of burnt ARAP. Vettel took the head of the queue with Ricciardo behind, brewing on the stop tune to take his former Red Bull teammate. Mercedes had managed to jump ahead of Kvyat as the Russian be put before the VSC, with the Silver Arrows running the hard tyre contact, so they could attack at the end of the race, provided there were no more interruptions from Melee. As is so very often the case for Singapore, however, there would be another appearance from the Mercedes GT, but for a very bizarre reason. As Vettel headed through a slightly revised turn 12, the German spotted a man wandering across the track. The track invasion, the invader looking to get a really good photo, led to an immediate safety car, one which helped Vettel more than hindrance.
Almost out of fuel. You need to pit within the next 2 laps.
Once the race restarted, Ferrari knew that Ricciardo would have to pit in once again, as he was on the hard tyre. Vettel too had to pit, but could push harder and pull away from the Australian, giving him the advantage he needed to stop any chance of an attack. Raikkonen was sat in third and struggling for tyre grip when he pushed, but he was given a lifeline by a faltering Hamilton behind. The Mercedes had reported a loss of power between safety car periods, with team and driver cycling engine modes to try and rectify the issue. It was all for naught, however, as the team finally admitted defeat and retired at number 44. Sebastian Vettel would cruise to victory ahead of Ricciardo and Raikkonen, marking the first Mercedes-less podium of the year. Rosberg would still come home in 4th despite his engine pattern before the start of the race, ahead of Bottas, Kvyat, Perez, Verstappen, Sainz and Massa.
set up if you need to, and we can chuck on a fresh set of tyres if they're getting warm.
Marina Bay is statistically our most successful circuit in this series, only failing to pick up points in 2014. But we arrive here on quite the poor run of form, save for points at Hungary. I think though, if we can hook up some laps, we should be getting into Q3, and maybe even fighting behind or even in amongst the top 4 teams of Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull and Williams. So, let's aim for P9 and position ourselves well for a return to points at somehow what is our favourite circuit.
The sky is dark and the lights are on. Welcome to qualifying here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. How will Nico Rosberg be approaching this qualifying session?
Well, he'll know that it's crucial to start this race in pole position, so he has to deliver the maximum when it really matters. We all know he's got the speed in qualifying. He's shown that time and time again, but now's the time to make it happen.
Hi.
Exactly, Crofty, and hi Jeff. Welcome to the garage then for Q1 at Singapore. Practice wasn't too bad. We only did a prime tyre run as always, and still were quicker than Fernando and both Marussias. On the options, and with a bit more grip on the track, because it's slippy slidey out there, we should be alright. Getting into Q2 I think isn't hopefully going to be that difficult. Q3 might be a bit of a stretch. Not a massive amount of confidence in a lot of places here. Most of my laps spent scraping the walls. The car just didn't seem to turn, and the track is for some reason narrower in 2015 either. But lap time wise I think we'll be okay, so let's go get one on the board and see if we can get through Q1 without too many problems. The fastest lap then in Q1 was our first lap of the session, throwing the car at the final couple of corners. As we head down the start-finish straight into this fun little section at the start, we have a Marussia just exiting the pits. We throw ourselves right in front of him, actually compromising our exit on a little deep, but it doesn't compromise our speed as we head on to the DRS straight just after turn number 4. Heading down here, there's a car a little bit further out the road, but we're far enough behind it, it's not going to affect us too bad into this tight, tricky little sector. There's a good run through there, clipping the curb on the inside, not running too wide on the exit. Now we're starting to get up to the back of the Red Bull ahead. But again, not quite close enough to worry us as we go through turn 9, just avoiding the barrier that sticks out there and head down towards the former Singapore Slim. And just a simple left-hander. Having to wait to get on the throttle, that compromises us up through 11 and 12, but we ride the curbs well enough to keep ourselves out of trouble. Over the Anderson Bridge and into the left-hand hairpin at 13, and it's another long straight. No DRS back in 2015 on this straight, so we're just relying on Honda power, but we're still doing okay, avoiding the outside wall there after clipping the inside apex as we get into the final sector, which still includes the grandstand section as well. Seem to have been really good through here in practice, and so it remains in qualifying. You can see how close we get to the back of Daniel Ricciardo's Red Bull. We're just able to throw it over the curbs and not worry too much about the car having a mind of its own. Ricciardo though, now right in front of us. We have to back off a little bit through the final corner, but we've used the drag of the Red Bull to set a fairly competitive first lap.
So far. Well done.
The big disappointment in qualifying 1 is that Daniel Ricciardo has been unable to make it into the next qualifying session. What a blow that is for the Australian driver.
End of Q1 then, and we are comfortable. Actually fastest in the final sector, 1.4 seconds off the Mercedes, but in 5th place ahead of both Williams and Kimi. I think jumped us right at the death there, Vettel as well. So we are right up amongst the front runners, a bit like Monaco, but I think there was a bit more time on the table down at the back. Daniel Ricciardo knocked out with Daniel Kvyat, both Red Bulls gone with Fernando Alonso and both Marussias. They're going to have a real tough time coming through the field, but it does mean that we're going to have to keep our eyes in the back of our head because they will make it through the field, you feel. And when they do, they'll come after us. We've had run-ins with them in the last few races, dating all the way back to that Austrian Grand Prix. But that's by the by. We've got to get through Q2 yet. Who knows? Might have a solid chance of a top 10. And the garage then for Q2 in Singapore. Really, really strong Q1. The AI tend to up a notch a little in Q2, so there is an outside chance here that they could absolutely outpace us, but we showed strong pace. I think there was probably a little bit more on the table. So let's get out there, see if we can mix it with the front runners. Our fastest lap in Q2, and very much like the first session, quite early on for us, already set a pretty decent benchmark for ourselves as we head into turns 1, 2 and 3 once again. Liberal with the curbs, but we run very wide on the exit of 3. Seemed to be a recurring theme as we head down towards turn number 4. Over the curb quite nicely, well away from the barrier, and the exit gets the DRS open as Raikkonen already has beaten our time. You can see we're ahead of Toro Rosso of sight, so we've obviously set ourselves a good benchmark to find. 2 and a bit tenths up at the end of the first sector as well, so it's already starting better as we head through turn number 8 into turn number 9 as the time starts to collapse around us. Heading down towards the Singapore sling, we've kept well away from that barrier on the exit of 9 once again, and this time through the sling, not quite as understeer. We were able to actually get a really nice angle into 11 and 12 as we cross the Anderson Bridge and into the hairpin at the top of this long straight in the middle of the lap. Slipping down the order, but still comfortably in the top 10 at the moment. As we cross the timing line, we're nearly half a second up. We've really improved, take a huge amount of curb there, which actually probably cost us a little bit of time just because of how it's designed into the final sector though, where we've been great all the way through qualifying and practice. And once again, we can just throw the car through the grandstand section, get very close to the inside barrier there. I think even as I was driving, I held my breath attached, liberal through the curbs, get a little warning for that one, but we make up for it by hitting the wall on the outside into the final corner on the fringes of the top 10. It's going to be an improvement, and enough to get us in the middle of the pack.
What a great qualifying session Q2 was, and as the cars return to their garages, already those in the final 10 will be figuring out how to come out on top in this final session.
Once again, a good couple of laps in Q2, and we get through. We're in the top 10, P7 in the end, with Hulkenberg, Carlos Sainz, Ericsson, Maldonado and Felipe Nasr. No major surprises in the elimination zone. Verstappen in there, Grosjean 2. It's going to be quite a fun-looking grid after maybe the top 4 to 6. But if we can break in amongst the Mercedes and the Ferraris like we did in Q1, who knows where we could end up. Just a second off Rosberg in the end. So let's get to that final session, see what we can do. The garage then for the final qualifying session of the Singapore Grand Prix. Beating our objective, or at least the team's objective, so that's good news. Feels good out here. Like, feels like we could compete if we can hook up a lap. First lap's always a little bit sketchy, low grip, but second lap onwards we might be able to get something on par with some of the front runners. So let's get out there, give it our best shot. See if we can mix it with the big boys. Fastest lap in the final part of qualifying. Third lap of this session after the second lap of Q2 and first lap of Q1. Seemingly taking us just a little bit longer to really get our best work in. But we head through the opening few corners. Again, looking neat and tidy, not quite as understeery on the exit of 3 as we have been so far. So, at least a better exit through there. Into 4 onto the back straight again. Been well away from the barriers, isn't it? It's just slap a wall, cost ourselves some time and maybe even a bit of front wing. And as we cross the first timing line, we are fractionally down on our best sector one time, but we're very wide through turn 5. We get a little warning for that. But we know the middle sector in our previous couple of laps has let us down just a little bit, so we just need to get this right to really give ourselves a good run through turn 9, just about avoiding that barrier sticking out as we go into the sling. Bit of an odd angle, which compromises a little through 11. We managed to salvage it, get through 12, over the Anderson Bridge and into 13 and into the hairpin. Very close to the barrier, really pushing our luck with the margins that we have here. They are very fine, but we cross the timing line in the second sector and we are up and very well up at this point as well. So into that final sector once again, as we've been all the way through practice and qualifying. Really good rain pair. Bit compromised on the entry into the grandstand section of the lap, but once again, just holding our breath as we marginally avoid barriers through the grandstand and underneath the seating, having to feather the throttle a little bit, seems like we're going to get it all wrong. We fly it around the final corner as hard as we can, and it's an improvement. So just a little bit further up the grid.
It's been a mighty qualifying performance from Mercedes today, with both cars on the front row for the race tomorrow.
They've really worked hard this weekend, and it seems they've been able to set up the cars perfectly today. Whether this will translate into race pace tomorrow, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Qualifying ends then with us finishing P5, just 1.1 seconds off Lewis Hamilton, who's marginally ahead of Rosberg. Between the Ferraris and the Williams, what a spot to be in. It's the same spot we started back in Monaco, 5th spot, and we had a really great time there. And we're quick in the final sector compared to the AI, and all right for pace in the first sector. It's that middle sector that's just a little bit tricky. So we might really have a good night at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. We're ahead of Massa, Bottas, Perez, Grosjean, Verstappen. So we're going to have a bit of work to do, a bit of defending to do from the cars behind. But maybe we can go on the attack. Let's cross to the race, see how that goes.
The lights are on and shining brightly here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix. On pole today is Lewis Hamilton. The Mercedes was dominant during qualifying, and with the power unit advantage, well, you just can't see anybody challenging for that race win today.
He was driving on another level yesterday, so it wouldn't be a surprise if he just pulls away from the field and is untouchable. But as we know, anything can happen in Formula 1, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Last time out saw the best result of the season for Force India's Nico Hülkenberg. The German gave a very strong performance and got very useful points for the team.
It really was a good drive from Nico. He's had his ups and downs this season, but that was definitely one of the better moments.
Thank you very much. And Crofty P5 on the grid under the lights at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. A little bit better than I expected us to do, I think. I felt like we had pace when we got into Q1 and then just seemed to be able to find lap time. And I think we've done well to out-qualify both the Williams. Red Bull way down the back as well. I've got a fair number of fast cars behind me. So this is going to be a really tricky one, but it's a circuit that we've done very well at through this series. As I said, right at the top of the last season in 2014 was the last time we had, well, the only time we've had a no points finish here. And we could have had points if it wasn't for a pit lane infringement crossing the white line on exit, which, yeah, my fault, but you got to play the cards you're dealt. Objective-wise, I think the Williams are probably going to find a way past me. We might be able to hold them up a little bit, particularly through the middle sector, but we know what F1 2015 AI is like. They do love a dive bomb. So I'm going to say P7 is my aim for this one, so it means that I could lose a couple of spots and still get away with it. It would be really, really nice to come out of this with points, because the last couple of rounds, like Hungary P9 was probably a little bit fortuitous, so I think we just got lucky maybe with the strategy as the race progressed. But right here, right now, we've got pace. Belgium, we didn't have any. In Italy, we were the victims of our own downfall, or the creators of our own downfall, should I say. So here we've really got to be careful, because it's a street circuit. The AI are crazy, but we're starting in a really good position to give this a really, really good go. Who knows, we might be able to jump a couple of guys in front of us through the first few turns and have a really, really good afternoon, or evening, should I say. But enough talk, it's time to get those 5 red lights on and out again for the 2015 Singapore Grand Prix.
Top 2 finish is what we're predicting for today's race.
That's a win or finish second as the 5th red light is on, and away we go. The Ferraris get a decent start. Massa as well, getting a really good start. We'll just hang here. Block out Massa, take back off 4th. We've collided with the back of Raikkonen's car as we all concertina into technically 3, I think it is, rather than 2. We're maintaining our position at the moment. This is where we could struggle. You can see the pace differential. The Mercedes-powered Williams one way, then the other, down the inside. It's going to force us to brake really late, but we managed to hold it. Keep him behind us. This is where we've been struggling, so it turns 8, 9, 10. The tail end of the lap sort of comes good, so Grohl getting away from us at the moment as Massa takes a look at the old Singapore sling. Strangely enough, where Jensen Button was taking a look at us quite a lot last season, as we get a yellow briefly behind us, but nobody immediately there. Newton, I can see. Four line astern, keeping themselves honest, keeping each other honest, should I say. As I said, this is where we've been good. See what I mean? Although the Mercedes driving off into the distance a little bit, it looked like the Ferraris was falling off.
50 kilograms of fuel remaining. There's 50 kilos of fuel left.
The steer that we experienced quite a lot here as we crossed the line for the end of the first lap, remaining P5. Scrape the wall a touch, but we're safe for now. I'm not sure who it is behind Felipe Massa, but they've really fallen off, which is giving us even more of a buffer. And because we're quicker than the AI in the final sector, Massa not really challenging in the 2 DRS zones. We lose a bunch of time here, and then by the end of the lap we should be able to pull back away from it again. As we clip the exit of turn 9, it's been a problem all the way through the weekend. Massa's going to go for it. We're going to pin him to the inside. His car, we're going to drive calmly and keep him back. No DRS zone here in these days. It costs us time. If Bottas still behind him, but there's a couple of little gaps forming further back. On the pits, early doors here.
You're now running a third.
That's a third, and Vettel and Hamilton, I think, have both gone in. Rosberg and Raikkonen staying. Massa's gone in as well. Not. We're due to run another lap after this. Tyler might not be so bad for us here. Hopefully they don't get the undercut now. Berger and Raikkonen both in, so we will lead this race for a lap.
The pit window is open.
In we come then for our pit stop. Entry here, but we do okay. Who's going to stay out? And where are the leaders? Because it looks like Alonso's at least in 4th at the moment. Kvyat stays out. He will go past. Alonso stays out. He will go through. A couple of others are going to go through here. Raikkonen's through. I've seen Vettel, Rosberg, Hamilton and the like all through as well. Sainz came in. Massa now just heading down the pit lane.
2 stops left in this strategy. We have 2 stops planned.
So we'll undercut us annoyingly.
Kvyat has just made a pass into first place.
Down to 8th at the moment, but Kvyat and Alonso still to come in. Panic just yet. Back to Bottas as well.
Bulls are about to pit. Their crew are getting ready.
Caught Massa at quite a rate. Alonso's in, Kvyat will be in as well. Back up into 6th.
Here's the current fuel level. We have 40 kilos remaining. 40 kilos.
Final sector things as we close up to the back of the Williams though. should get away from us now. It's whether we can swing the pendulum enough in our favour with the tail end of the lap.
Rosberg's in first place.
Bottas at the moment. James one thing, get past Felipe Massa. There's going to be a whole other. It's kind of single file through these corners. But in goes Massa. AI getting a lot earlier than we are.
You've taken fifth.
Vettel in as well. Hamilton's in. Rosberg and Raikkonen still out, so they're running longer as well. They're due to come in this lap. Tyres not too bad at the moment. Maybe we can extend.
Fitted the option tyres. Car behind now running the options.
We will box this lap. Rosberg and Raikkonen in as well. Off over the curb in there, but that's no harm, no foul. We survived. Raikkonen just get into his box. Rosberg already gone. There goes Raikkonen as well. Vettel and Hamilton will go by. Looks like Daniel Kvyat might be holding up a bit of a train. In front of. There's a slow pit exit here. Kvyat is going to jump us, I think.
Only one stop to go. One stop left in this
Massa
strategy.
not a million miles behind them. Tight pit exit. Massa gets ahead of us again. He's not that far ahead once more.
Hamilton has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
Kvyat dives in. Didn't quite hold up Massa as I'd hoped. We are close to the Williams. Close enough for DRS, and we've got away from Bottas, who's all in the back of us. With Felipe Massa now, Bottas I think is coming with us for the ride. Lost it again, to be honest. Against turn one. Bit of a bump, tried to switch back.
Rosberg has just made a pass for the lead.
With everything we got, rich mix, DRS open.
Just dipped under the 30 kilo
Staying
mark
right in the slipstream.
30 kilos of fuel
Later on the
remaining.
brakes, bit of a dive, but it works. Throw on Massa on the road and back into fifth. He's going to have his mirrors full of his Finnish teammate soon enough. Grohl at T9 avoided any issues. But in once again, Massa in as well, I think. And Bottas is now back behind us. Wide off the start finish, but no harm, no foul there for the moment. Vettel should jump us. Massa we might be able to sneak back ahead of. But I feel even if we do crack just behind them, it will only be just. Again, we seem to have more pace than them on fresh tyres.
Rosberg's the race leader.
Is in. Raikkonen stays out another lap, so it looks like Kimi's coming in at the same time as we are.
Vettel's cutting your lead by around 3 seconds a lap.
To 19, this race is just ahead of Rosberg. We've got Vettel and Hamilton for company. They are not our fight, so we've got to be really careful there. We just need to get round to the pits. Any of them attempt descend down here. Rosberg will go to the outside. We'll hold him off. I'd like to hold the position here. Slowing it too much though. Gets past us into turn 10, and then we're quicker than him towards the Anderson Bridge. I was going to, I'm not going to make a move. I end up bouncing into the back of him as he clips off the wall. Also on the soft tyres. I don't know whether he started on the primes. He's through, now holding up Hamilton. At the end of this one. So these guys not really my fight. We'll find out. That one a little wrong. We'll find out who's out in just a moment, but we'll head on into the pits.
Okay, I'm keeping an eye on our tyre condition here.
Doesn't matter, they're just heading under the grandstand. Beat them out, I wonder. I think might be tight.
Go now.
How slow the pit lane is. Here comes Massa. Oh, Massa's going to jump us. As is Bottas. That's really annoying.
No more scheduled pit stops.
With extra laps, and we've been caught out as we'll get out. Hit the side of Daniel Kvyat and lose another spot. Just got to stay calm. Either we're going to be quicker than the Williams, or that's it. They've beaten us as we hit the wall. Clear ahead of Alonso, so we're still well within the points. So we've just got to be calm. Kvyat should be coming in, I think, at the end of this one. At least very shortly. Grosjean, the man out. Get up to the back of Daniel Kvyat. I think he's trying to get into the pits. Emergency stop to let him by. He would have just driven across us.
P7.
So, Bottas and Massa close on the road to each other. So whether we're going to have enough to catch them. They should hit a little bit of traffic as well. Felipe Massa into the pits. It is. And another car, Raikkonen potentially? Maybe Vettel actually. No, it was Raikkonen. We're up to P5. There's Sebastian Vettel, who's also pitted, as he was on the soft tyre. The weirdest strategy, probably where they were going in a few laps earlier. Will Bottas have enough to get to the end, or will we move it to P4, I wonder? Bottas is in. So up to P4 we go, and we're running to the end with these tyres. Just got to take it steady, take it calm. Let's have a really good end to this race. I think that's a Mercedes there as well. Right, on a 4 stop. Slow moving Sergio Perez ahead of me. Sergio, mate, what are you doing? Wasting your time is what he's doing. Blue flags for Force India, who I think after my last pit stop was immediately behind me, so he's had some problems. In an instant somewhere, that would have cost me some seconds. Bottas, Massa, Raikkonen, I think are all fighting each other at the moment, or at least Bottas and Massa are. On to the last lap then of this Singapore Grand Prix. Genuinely didn't expect to be in this sort of position even after qualifying. Williams seemed to have us beat through the pit stops every single time. Just took a little bit of hard driving to catch and pass Massa, but it didn't look like we were going to do it on the final stint, I thought that we were destined to finish behind Williams, which is where we were expecting to finish realistically. But the AI on a pretty weird 4-stop strategy saw everyone in the top 5 pit, not close enough for us to jump Vettel, Hamilton or Rosberg, but easily close enough to get by Raikkonen, Massa and Bottas. They've then scrapped with each other. We've really just driven a nice controlled end to this Grand Prix. Don't need to push far enough behind Vettel that unless he was to make a serious mistake and get damaged, we're not catching him. Far enough ahead of Bottas that we're safe from any attack as we get through the final sector of the lap. You can see a blue flag board there. Bottas at least on the same straight as we are, but Rosberg takes the victory. Will extend his championship lead. Hamilton will come home second with Vettel in third. We, however, not only are going to get back to points in this season, but back to points in Singapore and in a big way. Not getting low numbers, not holding on for dear life in P10, but having a comfortable race under the lights at Marina Bay to take P4.
So a great drive today from Nico Rosberg, and I'm sure the Mercedes garage will be celebrating that win long into the night.
It really was a great performance, and one that I think will be remembered for a long time to come.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
Well. 4th position at Singapore, and Fernando Alonso takes a point in P10 as well, with Hulk and Perez outside of the points. Great day in the constructors' battle with Force India. Top end of things out, it's Rosberg from Hamilton, then Vettel. There we are in 4th ahead of Bottas, Massa, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Sainz, Alonso. What on earth happened to Kimi Raikkonen? Verstappen 11th, then it's Hulk, then it's Raikkonen. 5 stops, must have had an incident late on, maybe with Perez. Maybe that's why Perez was slow. Ericsson's in 14th, then it's Maldonado, Nasser, Will Stevens, Roberto Merri ahead of Perez. Grosjean, the only driver not to finish. What does that do to the stand-ins? Nico Rosberg now leads by 23 from Lewis Hamilton. Vettel remains 3rd with Raikkonen in 4th. Bottas moves ahead of Massa into 5th by 2 points. They're still on the fringes of this title fight, but it really is fringes at this point. Ricciardo remains 7th. We move up back into 8th spot ahead of Daniel Kvyat by 5. Perez remains 10th, and it's Hülkenberg. Maldonado Alonso leaps to 13th ahead of Grosjean. Sainz is up to 15th, a couple of points ahead of his teammate Verstappen. Then it's Nasser, Ericsson, Stevens and Merri. While in the constructors, only one move in all of it. That's us. Mercedes though lead by 72. Ferrari losing Raikkonen from the points is a bad day at the office, hasn't helped their charge to the constructors. Williams remain 3rd. Red Bull 300 points away from the lead in 4th. Big fall from grace for the Milton Keynes outfit. We're 5th. We jump back up ahead of Force India, and by 11 points no less. Lotus remains 7th ahead of Toro Rosso, Sauber and Manor Marussia, still 0 points at the back. Well, I was not expecting that. An AI pit strategy like that was not on the cards. They 4-stopped. A little clutch of us 3-stopped, and it really helped us out. While Raikkonen, bless him, had to stop 5 times. But that's our joint second best result at Singapore in this entire series, and that was back in the Lotus in 2011. 2 tenths, 2 fourths, a second, and that 18th last year after a poor showing in the race, just thanks to getting over that white line. We were very careful about the pit exit this time around, and it paid off. What a way to get back into the points. What a way to do that for both the season and this venue in the series. Singapore, our most successful track. Points in all but one seasons. Let's see if that continues with Manor next year, and then into the Williams, Sauber and Haas years. Even the Alpine could be a stretch. But what a way to get back to points. Next time, It's Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix, a circuit we've not scored on at all, I don't think, in this series at all, and a circuit that we struggle at even to this day. Yeah, no points scored. The closest we've got is 16th in 2011 and 2012, and if I remember rightly, they were pretty lonely races. Maybe this McLaren can have a good time. A McLaren Honda at Japan really do have to do something for the Honda faithful, don't we? But that means we now officially are the second best season in this series. A little ways to go still, though, to catch up to that 2010 points peak. Can we do it? Can we add to it in the next couple of rounds? Come join us to find out. Hope you enjoyed this one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all the good stuff, you know the drill by now. Thank you so much for watching the Singapore Grand Prix. I'll see you for the next one at Suzuka. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.